All right. So it looks like that still didn't download, interestingly. So let's try another podcast on here. Let's see. Okay. So yeah, it's happening. It seems to be happening on all my podcasts on my phone right now. So 99% invisible is another one it just happened for. Okay, so we hit this breakpoint. We can get rid of that one. Oh, is that the problem the whole time? Let's see, is it downloading now? Yeah, okay. Looks like it's downloading those. So the episode here was number 576. Was the one that on my personal phone I just saw this happen with. These aren't in any order though. Let's see. 576. Yeah, so I'm curious to hear from y'all in chat. If today has been interesting. I wasn't originally even planning to do anything today, because I was busy with the workshop yesterday. But I decided at the last minute to do this because I was wanting to look into this bug anyway. And I've been thinking about doing some more non-Elm open source stuff in general, probably not on Sundays. I want to keep that for Elm stuff, but maybe occasionally doing a stream at another time for non-Elm open source stuff. So let me know your thoughts on if you'd be interested in that at all. Let's see. Yeah, so this was the other episode that I just saw this happen with on my personal phone. Okay. So here's something we can compare, I think. Oh yeah, what I was expecting was to have that other breakpoint get hit in this generate ID, but that didn't actually get triggered, which is interesting. Cool. Glad it's been interesting for you, Mikey. Yeah, I kind of have been this year thinking a lot more about trying to use more open source software in general, and like on my phone. I mean, there are some nicer podcast apps out there than this one, but I have been trying to switch to using open source stuff when possible. And I mean, as part of that comes with fixing some bugs when you find them, and like helping make sure the community for those different open source projects is strong enough to keep the project going. Hey Nova, welcome to the chat. I don't remember if you've been around before, but welcome nonetheless. Alright, so it's interesting that this file, the try insert episode, has not been hitting breakpoints. And in the sync worker, yeah, the other thing is normally when you set a breakpoint when the debugger is attached, it'll put a little check mark in there. So for some reason, this particular file doesn't seem to be able to set breakpoints. So let's take a quick read through the code for generate ID. And so we saw that first it takes the URL to make an ID, and that's kind of the fallback ID. Then it checks update episode timestamp. What does that do? If it can update the episode timestamp, then it returns false. Not sure what that means. Then it calls getID on the episode. Let's look at that. That's just a nullable ID that comes from the RSS feed. And if it doesn't have one, then it's fine. If it does have one, then it calls generate ID based on that. Okay, and then generate ID just takes the oh, interesting. It takes the hash code of the string and then subtracts the minimum integer value. So that'll just basically make sure that you get a positive value. I'm assuming this long cast applies to this. This is kind of weird, but this is just, looks like it's just a hack to make sure that we never get a negative ID. Although I'm not completely convinced that this works in all cases, but even if it doesn't work, that doesn't matter because the ID is just used for a file name, at least for what we care about. Oh, hey Nova, you're a web developer. Cool. Oh, looking to get into mobile stuff? Yeah, nice. Yeah, I kind of, when I started out, I was mostly a Java developer and did like desktop Java apps, as well as like Java-based web apps. Well, no, I used like the Google Web Toolkit. I guess that did make web apps. But yeah, then I kind of was just playing with mobile stuff on the side. And like when the iPhone came out, I played around with writing iPhone apps and got interested in that kind of on the side, and then happened to end up doing a mobile Android project just through some connections that I had, and kind of went from there. So yeah, I kind of got lucky that I was interested in it and had played around with it a bit when it was getting popular, and then happened to find some jobs early on related to it. So yeah, I think it's an interesting thing to at least find out about. Maybe set yourself up for the possibility of getting some jobs related to it in the future. All right, so we figured out how the IDs are generated. What I wanted to do next was compare the IDs that we're getting here to the IDs for these same episodes that are on my phone. So maybe what we can do is delete the episodes that are not the ones that we want to compare. So this one we can delete. Tobacco we can delete. Mitski we can delete. Peter, Bjorn, and John we can delete. Cool. Okay. So both of these episodes are episodes that I have on my personal phone, and we're having this problem. Oh, so interestingly, we have some leftover files. And these are all podcast files. So I deleted... Oh, did I delete everything? Oh no, here are some more. Okay, so let's delete this one and this one too. Okay, so we should only have 2 files left. Great. And then these are the IDs of these 2 podcast files. Actually, let's figure out which is which. I'm going to delete this file and then try playing these. And let's see, we don't need this breakpoint at the moment. Okay, so this one, this Song Exploder one, is the one I just deleted, so that's the 1173. So I'm just going to download that again, and we should end up with a file with the same ID. Yep, looks like we do. Cool. So now let me find my USB cable and plug in my personal phone, and we can check the IDs on that and see if it has the same IDs for the same episodes. And if it doesn't, then I actually have a kind of an idea of what might be going on here. So let me find that cable. Let's see. All right, I'm plugging the phone. Okay, and now let's start a new terminal, and let me change the color of this one so we can keep these straight. So this one's going to be my personal phone, and we're running ADB, which is in our library folder under Android SDK Platform Tools ADB. And okay, so it doesn't see my phone yet, which is possibly because I'm using a cheap USB cord, and is possibly because I haven't turned on developer settings on my phone yet. So let me check the developer settings. And let's see, development tools is on. ADB should be allowed. Okay, so it looks like it's probably this cheap USB cable. So let me find a different one. Let's see. All right. Is here a cable? Nope, that's the wrong kind. Okay. Give me just a second.